In this video, I'm going to show you how to fold the origami model called Mother and Child, designed by Stephen Weiss. Diagrams are published in Origami USA's annual collection from the year 2000, which you can buy a PDF version of on origamiusa.org. This model I folded from a square sheet of paper with a side length of 24 centimeters or about 9.5 inches. And the model then stands about 12 centimeters or 4 3/4 of an inch tall. It's about 7.5 centimeters or 3 inches wide, and depending on the final shaping, it's about 4 centimeters or 1 5/8 of an inch deep. The color of the skirt is the color that you need to start with on the top. So if you want a colored skirt, then start with the color side up. We're first going to find some references. So for this, we're going to bend the paper and just make pinches. And going to pinch in the center. Then bring the edge to the pinch mark we just made. And again, bring the edge to the pinch mark we just made. And then turn over and align these lower two pinch marks. I find it's easier to fold towards a mountain fold, that's why I do it on the other side. And then you now have this reference, and we're going to take the top edge and fold it down. I'm just going to rotate the paper because I find it easier to fold away from myself. Aligning that and making a crease. Then we can rotate this back and fold the raw edge to the folded edge. Now let's unfold this, and now we're going to fold 1/16 on the width of the paper. And I like to give the folds a specific direction. So I'm first going to fold in half with the white side up to make a mountain fold in the center. Unfold and bring the raw edge to the central crease. Especially if you're using paper that is colored on one side only, try to make these creases quite precise, because then there will be only little colored paper, like the colored side of the paper, showing in the white areas of the model, which is of course nicer. And now we want to do more valley folds, but I find it a bit harder to align to valley folds. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pinch on the left and the right so that it's easier to get nice precise folds. I thought I'd kind of share that tip with getting better precision, because I always go on about precision, so I might as well, share some tips on how to get better precision. Just aligning folded edge with mountain fold. Aligning with mountain folds I find much easier, because when you make a mountain fold it kind of leaves this ridge and it's much easier to see than a valley fold. So once we have those pinch marks, just flip the model over again, and then you'll see that naturally it will want to go along those pinch marks you made on the side, and it's much easier to fold those next creases, especially the ones in the center, like this one and that one, which I'm going to do now. So now we have 1/8, and then we want to have 1/16, and for that we're just going to always fold edge to folded edge or edge to mountain fold. I don't think it's much harder to fold to a mountain fold versus a folded edge. I'm just going to unfold that, and now I'm going to start folding 2 mountain folds. Now once we have that, we can refold that long edge and the second one. This section of paper will actually be for the baby, and we need to separate it a bit from the mother's body. So for that, we're going to make something slightly, well, it's not hard, but kind of have to get the hang of it. First of all, we don't want to have this paper drifting too much. So really try and align the edges. And if you find that helpful, then you might want to use a paper clip or something and secure those two layers together so that they stay in that form. And now we want to have the paper for the baby perpendicular, like in a 90-degree angle, to this edge. And while we're collapsing these layers together, we're going to be creating a lot of small diagonal creases so that then when the model is flat again, this paper sticks out perpendicularly. So for the first one, precision is the most important because it's the most visible. You have this mountain fold right here, and you want to align it exactly with that valley fold that goes all along the length of the model. So we're just going to ensure that we've got precision, and then we're going to push down here to add that crease. And now for the next layers, there's always kind of two things I do simultaneously. The first one is I have a finger right here. So I'm folding on this valley fold, or seen from this side, that mountain fold, to push the paper inside. And at the same time, I'm pushing together right here. So what happens is when I push from the back, you can see that V shape appear. And to get nice precision, I'm always aligning these mountain folds with that long valley fold. So pushing together and aligning, and then pushing together to flatten the first section. And then you go on to the next one. You can flatten this completely, and then again I'm making that mountain fold really pop up, pushing always on the next section to get that valley fold to appear, perhaps already flattening this a little out. Push, and then align the next edge with the valley fold to get nice precision. And you do that along the whole length of the model. And then on the last sections you might want to turn the paper over and ensure again that those layers are aligned really nicely to have only very little of the color side showing. Just ensuring that here it's quite precise, aligning those layers, and then just strengthening the creases. So now you can remove that paper clip, and you've got the paper for the baby separated from the paper for the mother. Now we're going to do something that's called an Elias Stretch to form different parts of the baby, in particular, the legs and the arms. So for this I'm going to zoom in on that baby section. First we need to make a lot of inside reverse folds in an angle right here. I prefer not to pre-crease this, but to really align edges right away. So I'm just going to rotate this, and then I'm going to open this up and align that edge right here with that folded edge to get nice precision. It's the more precisely you fold here, the less of the colored side of the paper you'll see. And then you also align that edge with this edge right here to get that inside reverse fold done without pre-creasing. And you do that on the next layer too, aligning raw edge with folded edge, and again aligning raw edge with folded edge. And now for the stretch, you're going to take those two, take them on the points, and you just pull them apart. You stretch them so that you will be creating a crease between the points of these two inside reverse folds. So that's the stretching part. And then you're going to push this to the inside to create new creases, diagonal creases, and completely flatten. And repeat one more time. First do those inside reverse folds. Then do the stretch and push the paper inside. And then you can fold it over and to the back. And repeat on the other side. And because that was so much fun, we're going to do something very similar for the arms of the mother. But for this, we're actually going to be making a longer stretch. So rather than doing 2 inside reverse folds, we're going to start with 3 inside reverse folds. So first, align to get nice precision. Next one. And the third one. And then we're first going to take 2 points and do a stretch. Holding that down. And do another stretch right next to it. And again, folding that down, getting nice precision by aligning these edges here with those long edges. And then you're going to flip it over and then stretch again. And now you have points here and there where you make a crease. And you push the paper together again, pushing it inside. And now you have a longer section of paper stretched down. Can you see that? And of course, repeat on the other side. Next, we're going to form the head. So for this, first take one edge and just fold it along that folded edge to pre-crease. Same thing on the other side. And then we're going to have a mountain fold here. So you're going to take 2 layers here and push down like that. Same thing on the other side. 2 layers. Can you see here? 1, 2. And push down and inside, like that. Then you're going to take this top section here and simply push it down as far as it will go. And then take one of these layers and push it over so that we have this scarf-like appearance covering the head of the woman's body. Now let's work on the skirt, and for that I'm just going to bring those arms of the mother out of the way, and we're going to concentrate down here. Now first we need to find a reference here to kind of determine the ratio of the skirt to the rest of the body, and it's not hugely important, but like for a guidance, if this is 1 unit, then you should go down about 3/4 of a unit, so maybe a little less. I'm just going to eyeball it and make a small mark with my thumbnail so I kind of know where to go, and then I'm going to make a crease on just the top layer of paper that starts in this corner down here and goes to that reference point. And as I said, you know, it's not exact, and if it's slightly different, that will be okay. And make a crease. Now we're going to take the next layer and fold along that crease to get the same angle. Make a strong crease, unfold, and make an inside reverse fold out of it, changing the direction of one of the folds to a mountain fold. And there you go. And now we can unfold the top layer and then open the inside reverse fold, and we're thus creating a crease right here. So we're taking the layer and just opening it and adding a new crease. And we need to do this 3 times. So this is the second time, making a crease, making an inside reverse fold out of it, and then again taking all of the layers together to open up and create a new crease right here. And one more time. And make an inside reverse fold. And again, open up the paper, taking all of the layers. Can you see I'm taking all of the layers together to flatten and creating a crease right there. That's a new crease. There you go. So seen from the back, it looks like this. And then you repeat the process on the other side, and to get the same angle, you align this edge with that crease line that you've got right there. Once you've got that, don't be too concerned if these don't line up exactly, because when we form the 3D part of the skirt, we can hide that kind of imprecision. But now we can bring the arms down again, and we can form the body of the mother a bit more. For this we're going to do a crimp, and we want to find exactly the center of all of these layers. That's right there. We're going to make a mountain fold, and then in an angle a valley fold. So we're just going to first start the mountain fold, kind of starting right about where the baby stops, going all the way to where the scarf stops. And it doesn't need to be exact, can be slightly different, it just changes the angle. So we're starting to make a mountain fold here. There's lots of layers, and in the beginning I kind of paid attention to make mountain and valley folds in a specific direction, because I find that if they're in a specific direction, it's easier to have these stay quite flat, these layers. So once you've got the mountain fold in place, let's not worry about the head for a second. Then you can bring back the paper. Just actually, I think I'm going to unfold this to that state just for a second. There you go. Then you're going to bring this paper back, and the crease down here will start slightly farther up than the mountain fold, but you want to meet that same point right here where the crease ends. And push the paper together. And this gives an angle for the head. And then we can refold that head section. There you go. So you can see that angle right there. Then we need to make those arms a bit narrower. So I'm bringing it up. And now I'm going to take this edge, align it with that crease line, only to the center really, to form a rabbit ear. So on both sides, and bring the arm down again. So I'm just aligning here, making a small crease here, aligning, making a small crease there. So now you have that triangle, and then from that intersection you just go up, or like go to the right in a straight line. I'm just pushing these two together simultaneously and aligning edge with edge. There you go. Then you can bend it to the back so that it's out of the way while we're working on the baby in a second. And repeat on the other side to narrow those arms too. One side, the other side, bringing them in together and aligning edge with edge, and bring to the back so that it's out of the way for the next steps. Push really hard. It's a lot of layers of paper. So now let's go on and form the baby. Again, we want to go to the central part of all of these layers, and we want to push the baby up, and by that we're forming creases kind of right along the body of the mother, and then in an angle starting from the body of the mother all the way to where you can see this hinge for the leg. So I'm opening this up a little, pressing together here, you see here, pressing together here, and then pushing and pushing to crimp the body over as far as it will go. And that changes the angle of the baby so that it's more towards the body of the mother. Next, we can narrow the arms of the baby with the same procedure as for the mother. And same thing on the other side. Then we can form the legs a little. So we want to angle them a bit so that they're more kind of on the hip of the mother. So for this we're going to have a valley fold and then a mountain fold in an angle. And these are just shaping details. So I'm just going to fold it up and then fold it back down in a mountain fold. So perhaps this angle is quite nice. Same thing on the other side, bringing the leg up and folding it back down, and here going for quite a similar angle as on the other side. And then we can also shape the legs a little. So this is really up to taste, but you can make maybe an indication of the knee by folding in here, and I'm just going to take my finger to make a slightly rounded shape here, and perhaps that corner can also be softened a little by just folding it to the back. And same thing on the other side. Just making a slight indication of the knees so that I suppose the legs aren't quite as wide. And for the head, we're just going to first fold this down like that, and then make an inside reverse fold. There we go. And then also soften those corners up there, which can actually indicate a bit of hair perhaps. So if you don't want to flatten it completely but just bend it, that's a nice idea. And then to form the head, you can also push in that paper a little. So just go between those sections and push in a bit here to indicate the head. There you go. And now let's see, what do we want to do next? I think we'll lock the skirt before we finish the shaping of the mother itself. So for this, try to align these edges just about like that. And then we're going to fold both layers simultaneously. So I'm just going to rotate this again. And fold it inside, going all the way to the top, so that it's locked all the way to the top. And fold inside so that the edge meets one of those folded edges right there. And then fold over one more time to secure the lock. And now to lock that in place, we're going to fold some of the paper inside, which also gets rid of a possible difference between these two layers. So this is really shaping, it doesn't really matter how far you go, but I suggest you go a whole section right here and then half a section. And then we're first going to pre-crease, and so I'm going to go through there, and here we're going to go about to a right angle, aligning edge with edge. And in the front we also want to bring some paper inside so that the model has more space to stand on. And here I'm just going two sections in, well, you know, half a section and another half a section. And again going for a right angle here. And this is again just a shaping detail, so it's up to your taste. Unfold those and then open this up and fold along the pre-creasing. And this makes a very good lock for that 3D skirt. And in the front we bring it in to make the model stand. And because we want this skirt perhaps to be quite full, I actually like to pinch that mountain fold right here slightly into a valley fold so that it doesn't go into the collapsed shape too easily. So you can see that. Now let's look at the shaping of the mother. The head is quite flat, and if you want you can leave it like that, but if you don't, you can go between these layers right there. It's kind of in the center of that section right here, and put a finger or something inside and then start to push on this crease and that crease right there to round it a little. And once it's opened a bit more, you can really go inside there and round the head. Can you see that? Then the scarf you might be tempted to curl a little too. And finally, the arms. You of course want to bring them to the other side so that the mother holds the baby. So I'm bringing them forward, and when you have them forward, you want to lock them together. So you can take one of the hands and insert it into a pocket right down there and push it all the way in so that they meet there. And then you make a couple of folds, a mountain fold, a valley fold, and another mountain fold. Let me just quickly press that together and then show it to you so that it's locked together. Can you see in the center it's a valley fold? Next to it there's two small mountain folds. You can do anything really, but you just want them to be locked together. And then you can see whether you want to bring the arms perhaps up a bit more. Push them maybe a bit together here on the body so that the mother is holding the baby in the position you want. Now you can add more shaping. You can shape the baby more, you can shape the head or the arms. Maybe you want the arms of the baby slightly tilted inwards so that the baby is kind of reaching for the mother's face in curiosity. And you can shape the back of the mother by pushing in some paper here and above the arms, but you know, I think it's quite beautiful like this too. And believe it or not, then your model, Mother and Child, designed by Stephen Weiss, is all done. If you liked this model, you might also enjoy folding an origami baby designed by Robert Lang, or this money baby buggy by Dominic Meissner, which, when folded from currency, also makes a great money present. I also have a playlist of instructions for various love-related origami models. Subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss my next videos. And finally, do check out my website happyfolding.com for more origami content. I hope to see you around, and happy folding!